It signals on 91.3. This morning, we'll be looking at the Nigerian financial situation. It's like it's a situation. And this morning, I have with me a very special thank you to Uncle Yomi. Good morning. If you're just tuning in, it signals, and we're talking and discussing both of them. Um, the financial situation of the country at the moment. I have with me an old boy of King's College, Lagos, is also the graduate of history from LASU and postgraduate diploma holder in business from the University of Liverpool. He has worked in several parastatals and his union activities because I started the program and I was telling Kayode, is it Kayode Kolawole? I miss Kayode Kolawole that I'm looking for one of Sonny Okosun's song, which is Revolution. If you're just tuning in, you're listening. um, so it's a revolution that we need right now. His name is Olusoji Oluwole, if I'm correct. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And is the president of ASBIFI. Now, ASBIFI is I have it somewhere. Just pause. I have it somewhere. Association of Senior Staffs of Banks, Insurance, and Financial Institution. Now, welcome to Signals.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Okay, so congratulations, because you
Thank
just installed the president. And I remember yesterday that Uncle Yomi called me and said, "You need to have him." I said, "Yes, sir, I would have him." I would have him. Now, we're talking Nigeria financial situation. It's been very, very bad. I don't think we've ever had it this bad where we can't have cash. Like, cash is king at the moment. Anybody that has the new currency is like, okay, we can now trade. What are your thoughts on what's going on currently?
Yeah, thank you, Delmi.
Yes.
I think what is going on right now is quite unfortunate. And sadly, we are all victims. And again, unfortunately, we're turning ourselves into our own victims. And that's basically what is happening. Now, of course, I don't want to bore everybody with the details of what has happened in the last couple of weeks, since last year, starting from the redesigning of the nairas announced by the CBN and the deadlines that were given. And of course, all the trouble that people, including me, have had.
Everybody.
Yes. I need to clarify that as well. I need to clarify it as well, that we are all affected. It's not just the general public, because whether we like it or not, we're also part of the general public. So we're all affected by this one way or the other. Right. Now, a lot of things have happened. A lot of insinuations have been made. Accusations have been flying up and down. And I must state here, I don't with that, we cannot deny the fact that there may be a few pockets of people who have behaved badly, and we will find that across every sphere of life. In the security forces, you will find people who are behaving badly. In government, the same thing. In our schools, and so it will happen in our institutions as well. And so it cuts across all spheres of life. But that is a very, very small and minute percentage of the challenges that we're facing today. So what is the challenge? Initially, 2 weeks ago, we were faced with two major challenges. The first was the rush to deposit the old naira notes so that it won't expire in the hands of people. Now, that created a problem on its own, because 2 weeks ahead of deadline, and I'm saying this from experience, people had started rejecting the old currency. I went somewhere to eat and they told me clearly, you can imagine, after serving my food, that I could only pay by transfer, by POS, or with the new currency. Right. So that was a challenge. But thankfully, with the intervention of the National Assembly and the pronouncement by the CBN governor, that part of it has been taken care of. So the challenge we're facing today is the availability of the new notes to the general public to use.
So my next question would be, why are they changing the currency now? a month to election? We're already like some days to election, but why the need to change the currency? Because nothing was wrong with our fine 1,000 naira, 500 and 200 naira note.
Yeah, well, a lot of things will dictate that decision. Number one, we're all very much aware, like the CBN governor announced, that a large percentage of the old currency that is outside the banking sector is not even in circulation. So they are hidden under people's beds, in tunnels, in rooftops. A lot of those currencies are in the hands of kidnappers, in the hands of corrupt people. So obviously, that is a part of it. The second part of it, well, the CBN governor relied on the CBN Act that allows them to change the currency periodically. Now, I do not have a problem with the policy. Like I've said in the past, the problem I have with the policy is the execution, and like you said, the timing, because this is not the right time. And for me, this is not the first time we're redesigning our currency, but this is the worst situation we have encountered. And it should speak volumes, because I would have expected that when this thing was going to happen, there should have been some level of engagement. Yes, I know there was a need to catch everybody by surprise, but a lot of things could also have happened to contain whatever it was that the government was trying to achieve, especially like I spoke about people who had bills of those currencies in their possession. I mean, imagine people keeping currency that was printed 20 years ago and bringing them out today, right? My daughter is probably younger than some of those currencies, okay, that are being brought out. But there are ways that those things could have been better managed. Now, in terms of the execution, the biggest challenge that I have seen, which of course is happening everywhere, is the availability. And when we are talking about the availability, the issue is about the volume and the value of the currency that has been produced so far compared with what is being withdrawn from the public today. Yeah, the CBN has come out accusing banks of hoarding currencies, of selling currencies, of trading with it.
We're seeing our currencies in parties.
Yes, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that, Adeomi. I'm coming to that. Now, like I said earlier on, I said we cannot deny that there are people who have badly behaved relating to this currency. But we should also look at those who are doing the things that they are supposed to do. I did a little bit of math, right? Now, assuming twice a week, just twice a week, CBN released 1 billion naira to every bank, right? And let's assume that each of those banks, I mean, we have big banks, right? Let's assume each of those banks have just 100 branches in Nigeria, and 1 billion was distributed equally. It means that one branch of each bank will get 10 million naira. Okay?
Go in circulation well.
Yes. Now, CBN says all currencies received must be loaded in ATMs. Let us assume that that 1 billion was just in 1,000 naira notes. Don't give 500, don't give 200, right?
Yes.
Now, one ATM will easily consume 8 million naira, right?
Yeah.
So 10 million naira, one ATM taking 8 million. Each bank has a minimum of 2 ATMs at every location, right? Now let's break it down further, that you are restricting everybody to take not more than 20,000 naira per day. It means that your 10 million naira will serve only 500 customers.
Per branch.
Right? Per branch, 500 customers. And remember, it is not only your customers that are going to come to your ATM. Others are going to come to your ATM. Okay? Now, let's now take it further, that those 500 customers across 100 branches, that is 50,000 customers. Okay. So now let us multiply the 50,000 customers by the number of banks we have in Nigeria. That's less than 2 million people in a country of 180 million people. How will that work? In a country that a lot of things happen through cash. People will pay their transportation through cash. I told you I wanted to eat. I couldn't pay. I engaged the woman, and she told me that the people who supply her foodstuff will not take any other thing other than cash. So what will she do?
So,
Okay.
sorry, does that lead us to, are we really prepared for the cashless society that they claim that we are? Because this is the first time that we're having the banks, the apps are having a stress test.
Yes, exactly. So for Nigerians, I believe a lot of Nigerians are ready for cashless, for the cashless society, right? With the exception of people in rural areas. And why the people in rural areas will have problems. One is that they may not have the facility to carry out cashless things, cashless transactions, right? The second is the availability of the right infrastructure. You have rightly said, this is the time for the stress test. I have never seen the volume of failures that I am seeing today. And the reason is that, yes, a lot of people have shifted to that side, but failures are occurring. Now, the failures run across board because it goes beyond the banking applications. The banking applications run on communication, which means that there is a stress on communication as well. A couple of days, I was in an environment in Abuja, and I just realized I couldn't transfer, I couldn't chat, I couldn't do anything in one area. But when you look at all those things, all those infrastructures are affected. Now, if those things had been expanded, if people had been more encouraged, in fact, this is the time to incentivize the cashless thing, okay? Provide some kind of incentives for people to be able to shift. There are people who honestly have joyfully accepted to use those things. A lot of them actually adopted the cashless economy during the COVID lockdown.
It was easy.
Right? Yeah, it was easy
there was
because
no
I recall,
stress.
yeah, I recall I stopped by the road one day to buy something. And the lady asked me, she said, was I paying by cash or transfer? I was pleasantly surprised. I was happy. Okay. So for somebody like that, she's probably prepared. But on a day like this, I'm sure if I transfer to her, it's probably going to take ages for her to get the notification that the transfer has gotten through, right? She'll probably let me go because I buy things from her regularly. But how many people will be able to do that? Someone called me recently begging me passionately to get her cash. She had an order. This is what she lives on. She was unable to fulfill that order because the people who supply her only take cash. Right. So all those things are happening and we cannot deny it. And now the sad part of it is that we are the ones bearing the brunt.
We are the ones bearing the
Right.
brunt.
Now, you heard what happened in Ibadan yesterday.
Yes.
Last week, I said it. I said, if we are not careful, this is what is going to degenerate to.
People are not only throwing stones at banks, people are going naked at the banks. Somebody
Yes.
I think recently died. And for the first time, the 50 nairas and the 5 nairas and the 20 nairas that we thought we were fading out because we were not using is suddenly king. Like if you have 50 naira, it's just something.
And it's not totally available. Now, in this situation, my members are the ones suffering. They've worked 7 days a week, receiving money. Their health has been put at risk. They're working hours on end.
I saw
Right.
I saw a young guy because I went to a bank and I needed to take my ATM and the ATM wasn't working and their workers were so down. And the guy goes, nobody will even know that I don't even know. I wanted to buy bread. Yes, I wanted to buy bread, 300 naira. And I couldn't even give the woman who sells bread 300 naira because that was the only thing I had with me. And I just looked at him and like, okay, you know what? I'll come back. Because that was how tired bankers are.
Yes. So you can imagine, and then you now have to go through the risk of people attacking you. Now they say the banks are not releasing money. Which responsible bank right, will put the lives of its workers and its equipment and facilities at risk by hoarding money? Who will do that? Okay. That's the question. That's the question we need to ask. And I was looking at some videos today, and I was sad. In Ibadan yesterday, one of our member banks ATMs was totally destroyed.
Yes, I saw it this morning.
Now, one ATM, I don't even know how much it costs today with the value of the naira today, right? So millions, tens of millions of naira destroyed. I drove around Ijebu-Ode last weekend. I drove around Abuja on Wednesday. At night, you need to see the queue, the number of people on queues, and they were drawing. So that tells you something. It tells you that the fund is there, right? But there will be people who will queue for hours, and then unfortunately, they get to the point where the cash will be exhausted. What do? You cannot give what you do not have, right?
So where
So
do
we
we
need,
go
so
from there?
we need, well, to start with, I think we ourselves, as a general public, need to be sensitive and a little bit responsible in what we are doing. My appeal to everybody each time they call me is that do not take more than what you do not need. Okay, people are doing panic withdrawals. They are stocking cash at home, just like people are stocking fuel at home because of scarcity, right? So people are drawing what they do not really require. I may be fortunate that the places where I engage, I'm able to do my transactions cashlessly. So as I speak to you right now, I don't think I have 10,000 naira right now of the new currency that I was lucky to get in 2 locations at between January 15th and last week. But I've tried to manage myself to ensure that I do not use that cash except it is in an emergency. Now, beyond that, that's what I do.
Because it's you, right?
Yes.
Let's look at the case of, because people are angry. The polity is angry that where they cannot get cash, people at parties have new notes,
Right.
and they're spraying it, and we that we need it don't even get it.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on at that point?
Yeah. So at this point, unfortunately, I will not be able to say specifically where they got that cash from, but they got it from somewhere, right?
Yes.
But my question is, I mean, between yesterday and today, off my head, I can tell you event centers where parties are going to happen. Not because I've been invited, but they have parties every weekend. How many security agents are already sitting there waiting to arrest those currency hawkers, right? How many so far? I mean, we're seeing those videos. How many of those people have been arrested today, right, to explain where they got the money from, so that way we'll be able to start nipping the problem in the bud. We'll be able to fish out where the problem is coming from, even within our own environment, because I want to believe that even our organizations will want to know if there are people within the organizations who are doing this. Now, let's even go beyond the banks. The banks are expected to provide funds to microfinance banks. They are supposed to provide funds to POS operators. POS operators are profiting from these things. How many of them have been?
If you want to collect 10,000 naira, you have to pay like 1,000 or 1,005, and it's something they're collecting tight.
Exactly, exactly. Now we all know that there are prescribed fees for withdrawal at POS points. I needed to make payment to somebody through a POS operator that I believe belonged to the person that I wanted to pay, even though he made it look like it didn't belong to him. He charged me 200 naira extra. I wasn't collecting cash. I was just doing a transfer. I was charged 200 naira extra. People are being charged 500, 1,000, 2,000. Like you said, they are being charged. They are being made to pay tithe to collect that money. Who is dealing with those people, right? So there's also the probability that the people that banks are being told to provide the cash to be able to serve people in rural areas are the ones that are selling these currencies today.
Okay, I have a message, and someone is saying that even the POS operators, they also charge them. Some of the banks are charging them to give them money.
That's not true, because the POS operators are agents of the bank.
Okay.
They are agents of the bank. So how will that happen?
Mm.
Let each POS operator come out and say that. I mean, that is what they will tell you.
Yes.
But the agents of the bank, it's like me as a customer of the bank telling you that the bank is charging me to withdraw money. How is that going to happen?
Now, you are the president of the Association of Senior Staffs of Banks, Insurance, and Financial Institution, ASBIFI. Tell us a little about that.
Well, ASBIFI is like you rightly said, is the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance, and Financial Institutions. And what ASBIFI stands for is to protect the rights of our members who work in our member banks, right? And to ensure that they get fair deals, they get fair pay, they are treated right in the organizations. We recognize the fact that individual individual negotiations do not really work, but collectively we're able to look at what happens across board in all our institutions and are able to come out with something that for us will be a win-win situation for our members and for our employers. And we try to monitor what is going on in their locations, find out where they have challenges, and engage their managements for them collectively so that at the end of the day, everybody is able to get what it is that they deserve. Now, beyond that, we also try as much as possible to engage even our own members, to encourage them to do what is right, to provide as much support and training, despite what their organizations put in place for them. We try as much as possible to empower them as well while they're in service. And we're looking towards even preparing them for life after service so that when they're out of employment, when they retire, they'll be able to live to have the same kind of standard of living that they enjoyed while they were in service.
Okay. Now, it's been 40 years. 40 years of championing championing the cause. Now, gradually, we still talking about hey, it signals on 91.3. We're talking the financial situation of Nigeria at the moment. Do you have cash? If you want to send us a message, send us a WhatsApp message or call us 0809 234 5913 or 009 191 3913. Or call us 015151913. If you have questions for Olusoji Oluwole, who is the current president of ASBIFI. Now, there's this mistrust between banks and customers. Some of the people that would say that hold down the bank, some of them are leaving. A lot of bankers are. I saw someone saying that my account officer is Jackpa. Right. And some say, yes, it's good that some of them are leaving. So paves in way for new young graduates into the system. But yet again, we have in recent times, we've had people say that banks are deducting their monies. Right. Somebody was still complaining about a bank that took $6,000 from her dumb account and all of that. All of this on Twitter. And what do you think is going on? Our bank safe with our ad end money?
So I can tell you clearly and authoritatively that funds in banks are safe. This was unlike what happened decades ago, where banks will go distress and then they tell you that the maximum you can get out of your deposit is 50,000 naira and so on and so forth. Today, with the policies that are in place, with the measures that are in place, funds are safe. Now, if we bring it down to what you have said, like the example you gave,
yes.
Every bank has a process in addressing disputes by customers, right? And furthermore to that, the CBN has also put in a system that allows you to lay your complaints, right? And they monitor all those things, they follow them. So yeah, people may come with a lot of accusations or reports about deductions and so on and so forth. But I can assure you that where those things happen, the processes are put in place. And where it is confirmed that those things were wrongly done, because some could be errors, they could be human, they could be systemic, and some could actually come from the customers themselves in terms of compromising themselves unknowingly. Let me use that term, unknowingly.
Okay.
Right, because a lot of people have fallen victims to hackers who tell them, oh yeah, we're from so place, we're from so network, we're giving you XYZ money, a code is coming to you, send it now, not knowing that their systems have been hacked. And then from there, their funds are stolen. So in such situations, there's little that the banks can do other than try to track the money and as much as possible get it back. And I know that they do a lot in that regard. And thankfully, because of the BVN that we have today, it's very, very easy to track the beneficiaries of stolen funds. So they could be blocked, because once your BVN is blocked, it means you cannot operate any bank account in Nigeria. And it can also trace you, across board. Today, NIN is also tied to BVN. It means that they can track you to your home, they can track you through your documents to your place of work, and so on and so forth. So funds are safe, but my appeal to customers is that they should ensure that they safeguard their information. They should try as much as possible not to fall victims to fraudsters. They should try as much as possible also not to be greedy, because a lot of people have fallen victims because they are being given rewards that they are not even entitled to, and they jump at it. Yes, I've seen it happen so many times that a couple of people have called me in the past that, oh, they were told that they got this, and then they were asked for their card number. I said, no, did you work for that money? Okay, so those are the kind of things. Those are the kind of things that we face daily. Now, in terms of charges, I read a lot of things.
Thank you.
I read a lot of things. I read a lot of things, and I just laugh sometimes. So I'll give an example. People come and shout that banks are charging 15 naira stamp duty. It is not the bank that is charging 15 naira stamp duty. The money goes to the government. It is called stamp duty. It means it is a tax.
So for every time, for every time we do a transaction, 50 naira. Do you know how many times 50 naira in one day?
Yeah. So I also pay 50 naira. Adeomi, I pay too.
Paying 50 naira.
Well, unfortunately,
then there is maintenance. There is monthly maintenance. There is SMS maintenance. What exactly?
Now, SMS, you see, those are the things we're talking about. SMS does not go to the bank. SMS goes to the telecommunications company.
No one SMS.
Receiving an SMS. But it doesn't belong to the bank. Remember also that banks are providing, years ago, if you didn't do your transaction between Monday and Friday, that was it. You had to wait till Monday. Yeah. God help you if you had a long weekend, public holiday on Friday, public holiday on Monday. You couldn't do it. Hunger, exactly. Now, to be able to take care of all these things, facilities have been put in place for you. ATMs are there. Systems are there for you to make payments. But those things also cost money. CBN says that your facilities must run 24/7, right? It means that you must provide alternative source of power, because you cannot guarantee that you are going to have power from the main source at every point in time. So every ATM has inverter connected to it. Every bank has to have generators running at, how much is diesel today? 850 naira, thereabout. Okay? So all those things are there. So it comes at a cost. I tell people, they do not believe me, that ATM business is a lost business. But people don't believe when I tell them. It is a lost business. I'll tell you. It sounds funny, but
it sounds shocking.
Yes, but it is a lost business, because when you look at all those things that I have said are in place, plus the cost of insurance, because you have to insure that money that you have put in there in the ATM. You have to maintain those machines. How long is it going to take for you to recover the hundreds of millions you have spent in putting ATMs? Some banks are putting up to 10 ATMs in one location to be able to serve customers. Those things cost money. Powering them is not easy. Okay, so when you look at it in that regard, honestly, sometimes I think you should feel sorry for us.
No, so a part of me in my head is saying, there's this Yoruba word that says "already like so that's how it's looking at. But then again, right? In as much as banks are producing services for
Yeah,
people because our monies are there. We've worked hard, everyone has worked hard to put their money safe in the bank, right?
true,
And
true.
and I looked at some of the videos that I'd seen online and trending of how people just want their money. And we're looking at, is it from your point of view, banking before and banking now, what has changed? And how, because CBN is saying that by 10 of February, that's like in 6 days' time, the old currency will no longer be that, will no longer be used. I'm wondering why this boxing everyone in the corner.
Well, yes, the CBN governor has made that statement. For him to have made that statement, it means he identified that there was a problem. Now, in the same vein, a couple of days ago, or I think was it yesterday or 2 days ago, the president came out and said he's going to make a pronouncement in 7 days. Right. It also means that the president has found that there is a problem. The vice president also spoke, identifying the challenges that are in place. So what I can say is that we should wait patiently and see what happens, because that is the bit. But I sincerely hope that between now and the 10th of February, 6 days from now, that something good and better will happen. If it means the CBN doubling what they have released to the public, very well. If it means extending the time frame, very fine. But something needs to be done to ensure that Nigerians have access to the funds and my people have become safe. Last night, I had to send a message out to them that when they are going out, they should try as much as possible to ensure that there is nothing on their person that identifies them as bank workers, because it has started by attacking facilities. Yeah. I can't imagine if I go out wearing the t-shirt or the face cap of my institution on the road. I mean, it's like a policeman. It's like a policeman wearing his uniform and walking past where someone has just been shot. Right. That is it. Our people are in danger, but people should understand that we will not do things that will come back to haunt us, to come back to endanger our lives. So they should be kind to us and understand that we are also faced by this problem. I mean, I cannot even provide cash to my own family members.
Wait first. Just hold on. Good morning. I had a bad experience with a certain bank recently. With I lost my ATM after I used it to purchase at a gas station. In less than 1 hour, I got an alert for a web purchase of a product. No OTP was sent to my phone, registered with the account. I made a complaint immediately to the bank to block the account. But when I demanded for a refund of my money, the bank explained it away that I gave out my card PIN, which is not true. Can your guest explain such behaviors of bank? Dr. George Ejetava, Delta State.
Okay, yeah, well, I think the simple answer to that is that if the person is not satisfied with the response from the bank, the person can actually go on and report it to the central bank. They have a customer protection department that takes care of those things. And what the CBN will do will actually investigate and see what happened. And then thankfully, there's no transaction that does not have an audit trail. So, so I'll give you an example. Every time you go to an ATM and complete your transaction, go and check the audit. It starts from when you inserted your card inserted, PIN entered, this one done, that one done. And it tells you the time, it tells you everything, and it is automated. So those are the things that the CBN will investigate to check. And if it is found in reality that that transaction took place without using using any form of authentication that is known only to the customer, then the bank would definitely be found liable and will be made to refund. And not just refund, many times even the bank is fined heavily for that kind of transaction. So they will have to refund, they'll have to compensate the customer, and additionally, and they will be fined also to deter such things from happening.
Now, what I see is, yes, every time we say, let's speak to CBN, and then immediately, even if you go online and tag a bank and tag CBN, they will reply you immediately. Before tagging CBN, why can't, and I'm speaking because there's sometimes this us versus them when I look, when customers versus the banks, right? The bank people want to protect themselves. The customer is saying, this is my money, this is my right, and all of that. And then, when in a culture where if you start to show who you are, they'll be like, your own is too much. But then we're just asking for basics, the basic necessities that I want to be answered when I get into the bank, and I want to be sure that the bank hears me.
So every bank also has a customer service department, which is outside the service available in bank branches. Okay, so sometimes it's good to go directly to the customer service unit. Every bank is expected to have one that operates 24 hours a day. They are there, they sleep there.
Service are cranky. Some customer service are cranky. I understand that the workload is much.
Every conversation with a customer service operator is recorded because of things like this. Okay. And like I said, we cannot escape occasional bad behavior, and that is why those things are recorded.
Plenty occasional bad behavior.
No, come on, Adeomi. When we look at the number, when we look at the number, look, I'll tell you something. When I have challenges with my own institution, right, I could easily call the person who is going to take care of it, and the person takes care of it. But because I want to test the system, okay, I go through it. My wife calls me, she tells me I had a failed transaction. I tell her, you know what to do, don't call me.
But how have you been suffering now?
Yeah, but I need to test the system, because at some point in time, I actually managed the team that dealt with these things. And the best way for me to be able to measure the performance of my team is to have people who are close to me testing it without them knowing. So the moment they give me the feedback, I go back and I check. And I call the person that, come, this is what you did to my family member. So you cannot deny. So that way, we're able to measure those things. And the best way to allow those things to work properly is to test them and to be able to give feedback, because there is no feedback that is better than feedback from people who are close to you, because they will tell you what it is. They'll be able to tell you what they experienced, and you'll be able to advise them also where they may have not gotten it right.
Now, in the next 6 days, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to have cash? Is cash going to be available? Are the bankers going to be protected? Because if people don't get their money.
Well, in terms of cash availability, I wish I could answer that question. I'm going to go out today to go around to see what is happening. I'll probably join a couple of queues to see and to hear people themselves, to hear what they are saying. I've been requesting for information from my members as well. Last night, I was asking them to give me feedback. This morning, I also asked them, because I had to share the information that I was getting from the field. Like I said, as at yesterday, 5 of our member banks have been attacked. Okay. I know that some organizations are beefing up security, but I think the government also owes us that duty to be able to protect us, not just coming out to accuse. Yes, I understand that they are going around checking vaults, searching ATMs and so on. Oh, very fine. I like that. But they should also try as much as possible to put enough security in place to curb to curb any kind of unrest that may arise, because people are already on a short fuse. So it just takes one single action to set them alight. Yesterday, I watched a video, customer fighting customer inside banking hall. We see what happened in Unit Ben, where they attacked a soldier, and then the soldiers went in there as expected and started destroying things around, destroying cars, destroying buildings that had nothing to do. The people who attacked the soldiers had probably already gone home and forgotten that they even did anything. So there's a lot of tension around, and we want to avoid a situation where we will have to tell our members to protect themselves. And when we say protect themselves, not fight back, stay in your course. But we cannot do that, because when we do that, it means that we are making people suffer. Yes. And we owe people the responsibility to have access to their funds so that they can carry out their transactions as they ought to.
Okay, my time is up. My time is up, but it's been wonderful talking to you about our money. Our money is very important. um, so quick one. Looking back at and this is for you, looking
Yeah.
back at I know you like aluta. Like there's I can see some alutaness there. If you go to last you want to aluta.
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.
No. See, there's nothing wrong with doing aluta, right? But so far in the struggles that you've put yourself out to fight, what have you seen changed?
Well, in the course of engagement, well, like we said, I've been the president in just less than 3 months.
No, I'm
Okay.
not talking about ASBFI. I'm talking about your own personal journey in terms of fighting for change.
Well, what I've found is that if you present your case, right, in ways and manners that people will listen, you are likely to get the kind of result. I remember a former boss of mine and a mentor.
Mm.
Uh, one thing he said is that if everybody is shouting and nobody is listening, you will never ever get the kind of result you want. And I've come to realize that in the areas where we properly engage, where we listen to ourselves, where we lay our cases, and everybody allows um, um, superior
Argument.
arguments, right, to stand, we actually get the kind of results we want. I mean, I may come with 100 things, but if I walk away with 80, it means that I've been able to let go of something because I've seen something from the other side too that requires me to let go of that 20 and ensure that that happens. So if we have good engagement, and I've found situations where we have had good engagement and we've gotten the kind of results that we want. But there are times also where the our quest for good engagement has led to us being treated badly. And when that happens, then it gets to the level of shouting. Several years ago, I remember an institution, we called them to a meeting because of something they did to our members. This was mid 2000s, right? And they refused to. Just one press conference. And we said that we're going to shut down that bank. Then ATMs were not very, very available. Said we're going to picket, we're going to shut down. Within 24 hours, we hadn't even gone out. People had withdrawn billions from that bank.
Okay.
If the bank came to discuss, but this could have been avoided because it is not what we wished for them. Because in losing that amount of money, it affected their profitability. And when it affected their profitability, it affected the compensation for our members as well. And that is not what we desire for our employers. We want them to do well, and we'll continue to work for them. We'll continue to fight for them like we are right now, because it's not just about us, it is also about our institutions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much,
Thank you.
Adeomi.
So my time is up. Please be kind to one another when you find yourself in queues, because we are queuing for everything right now, from PVC to fuel to cash to everything.
I'm
Create
going to keep
opportunities.
the vote.
Eh? You're
And
taking
we're
this
going to
vote,
keep the
Abi.
vote.
No problem. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Thank
Soji
you.
Oluwole,
Thank you.
comrade. You see, I've called you comrade.
I
President
mean, I
Soji.
can call you comrade today too.
Wait, just don't let's open it. My time is up. Have a wonderful day. Create
Thank you,
opportunities
Adeomi.
for people, and because people will be people, keep.
All right, bye. Mhm.